Welcome to the Caddo Convos, the podcast that explores the vibrant community of businesses thriving in Caddo Office Reimagined. We're here to shine a light on the incredible entrepreneurs and professionals who make the most of our private offices, co-working spaces, and day office rentals in the Dallas-Fort Worth suburbs. Join us as we share their stories, celebrate their successes, and dive into the benefits of working in a space that's close to home but offers so much more than working from home. Let's get started with today's conversation. Joining me today on the Caddo Convos podcast is Kim Drees with the Drees Team. Kim, thanks for joining me in the studio today.
Thanks for having me.
Wonderful. I want to know all about your business. So let's talk about your business, the Drees Team, and what you do for your customers.
Okay, the Drees Team is a real estate company, residential. My husband and I I'm the founder, and it's just two of us. And we help people realize their real estate goals, whether it be through buying, selling, or investing.
That's wonderful. How long have you been doing this?
I got my license in 2017, and my husband, Chris, joined me in 2020.
So you're approaching, before COVID. Yeah, you're approaching a decade here before too long.
That's crazy. Yeah, I guess so.
That's wild. That's great. And so you've helped a ton of customers in that time find their dream. Tell me about why you do what you do.
Well, it's multifaceted.
Of course.
I love helping people.
Yeah.
And I started when I was very young. My first job was selling Cutco knives. And I was really good at it, but I felt like people were buying things they may not necessarily need. And so real estate is something everybody needs, right? They need somewhere to live. So they're either renting and paying someone else's mortgage, or they're paying their own mortgage. And so that was one way that I could help people buy something that they need and love where they live. Also, we have 5 kids. And my
full house.
Full house.
Yeah.
And when my husband was a pastor for 9 years, there were times we could barely feed our kids. And so this was an avenue to help us feed our kids and be able to raise them.
Yeah.
afford to raise them.
Those two definitely go hand in hand.
Yeah. So just financial ability to help ourselves and help others. When you're renting, you're never going to pay off that monthly living expense. So hopefully, eventually, you'll have that mortgage paid off, and then you won't have that overhead to stress you.
And in your, like I said, nearly a decade of service in this industry, you've seen a lot of change.
I have.
I imagine, especially recently, in these past few years, what's changing that people should be on the lookout for as they're looking for a new home?
Affordability.
Yeah.
The prices have gone up 40% since COVID 2020, and they've gone down, but only maybe 10 to 20% at best. So we're still at a 20% increase in pricing, but rates are, I haven't checked today, but they were hovering around the 7s last Friday. Let's see, so they were hovering around the 7s last I checked, and that's not real affordable. So we have figured out some workarounds for people to try to help them be able to love where they live and still afford where they live. So affordability.
So in this recent market, I say right about now, you have a challenging market is currently, and now of course, by the time people listen to this podcast, everything could have changed.
Yes, that's true.
It's almost daily. But currently, and we're in close to June 2025. Is the area you work in a buyer or a seller's market? And really, the reason I'm asking that is I want to know the difference. Like, what's the difference between the two markets?
That's a great question. So, if you look at historical data, a seller's market is 0 to 4 months of inventory. A balanced market is from 4 to 6 months of inventory, and a buyer's market is anything over 6 months of inventory, meaning if everything we had on the market would sell in 6 months or more, it would be a buyer's market. So what we have is we have 4 and a little shy of 5 months of inventory. So that really alludes to a seller/balanced market.
Right.
But because interest rates are so high and we have a very big lack of buyers, it feels like a buyer's market.
Right.
We're
it's
able,
not yet.
It's not,
Yeah.
but we're able to get seller concessions. We're able to ask for sellers to do some repairs and maybe replace a roof or help them buy down the rate, pay their closing costs, pay for their real estate agent. So there's some things that we can do right now to help a buyer that we couldn't do in 2020 through 2022.
Who is your average buyer?
A first-time homeowner.
Okay. Makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm older. So my first home cost me $89,000 in 2009.
Yeah.
Now it's about $300,000 to buy a
same house
for the same house that needs cosmetic updates.
Yeah.
In the Metroplex.
How about that?
Yeah.
And speaking of Metroplex, talk about the areas you serve.
So we serve mainly Fort Worth, so Keller, Watauga, South Lake, North Lake, Trophy Club, Westlake, Weatherford, Hazlitt, Saginaw.
So pretty large area.
Yes,
relatively
relatively large area, but I feel very versed because we've helped over 280 clients since 2020.
Yeah.
So I feel like I can, if I don't know the answer about the market, I can find it.
So are you also representing, you've helped a lot of people with first-time homes.
Mm-hmm.
Do you represent sellers as well?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, tell me about that process.
So with the sellers, we are doing a little bit more than the normal. So we are co-hosts with American Dream TV.
Okay.
So we can put their home on television.
How about that?
And get to advertise that way. We also have magazines that we send out every month, or if it's for a specific property, we'll target, like we have a barndominium for sale right now in Crum, so we can target magazines that sell barndominiums. Obviously we're going to do MLS, and then we also can do off market where we have a list of buyers looking for that property, so we'll run that list through our resources. We also do something called Matterport, which is a 3D rendering. So everybody is buying online before they even go look at the house, right? Some people are buying that didn't even know they wanted to buy. So they're scrolling and they're like, oh, I wonder what the layout of this house is. So our 3D rendering will actually let them walk through the house. So that's some of the ways that we help sellers get their product out there. We also market to Facebook Marketplace, like Californians moving to Texas, like places like that. Our biggest relocators are like New York, California,
the coasts.
The coast, and then some Florida.
Yeah.
So we spend a lot of time making sure we understand where people are buying from and why they're moving to Texas, where they're moving from, so that we can market to those people. A lot of times someone's not necessarily attached to a realtor yet on MLS. So even though those properties are syndicated to like Zillow, Realtor.com, Homes.com, they're not like streamlined through MLS. So we have to kind of think outside the box on how to get that property out to a potential buyer.
So you mentioned several things here for people who don't know anything about your industry. You mentioned MLS. Mm-hmm. So my next question is going to be around the old school stuff, which I imagine MLS has been around for a long time. But then you also mentioned new technology like Matterport. So first, let's define MLS.
Multi-listing service.
Okay, and that's something I imagine that's common in your industries. That's what you look into. What is it exactly?
So it is a syndicated platform where every single licensed real estate agent will put a listing that they have for sale.
So it's a central hub for all of this information that you all refer to and refer each other to.
Correct.
To make sure the information is accurate.
It's the quickest way to get the property out to the masses.
Okay, terrific. What is Matterport and how do you employ it?
So it's like a dollhouse rendering of the house, the actual house. So we partner with Homes.com, and they come and they actually do the walkthrough of the rendering, and then we're able to tie that into the listing.
Oh, cool.
So that if somebody wants to see where the bathroom, like where the primary bedroom is in relation to the other bedrooms. Some people like a split floor plan. You're able to walk through the house and kind of get a feel for it that way.
So it's like a Google Earth, but for the inside of the house, it's a pretty high quality rendering.
Yes.
You can almost walk through it virtually.
Exactly.
Or you can walk through
it.
You can.
Yeah, you can literally walk through
That's
it.
Pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Every industry is affected by AI and these other technologies. How are you seeing this emergence of these generative AI tools affecting your business?
Well, they're useful.
Tools is the operative word, right?
Yeah. I can write a much better description of the property now. I don't let ChatGPT write it all, but it gives me some better words and ideas to make it a better description. And I'm not good with all the lingo. You probably know the lingo better, but a lot of the websites syndicate, they pull words out of descriptions. So we can use ChatGPT to tell us, hey, how are people searching? Are they searching our lakefront property, or are they searching for 4-bedroom home with an office? So those are things that we can use ChatGPT to help us, and then put that into the description so that it will what's the word? Target,
right?
For lack of a better word,
Sure.
It's going to target that buyer because the AI watches what we do and what we look up. So, that person wants a lakefront property, so then they're going to go look for properties that are that have a lakefront, and they're going to literally send them to that buyer.
Yeah.
So with us partnering with someone like Homes.com that is using AI to our benefit to help push that home out to a buyer that's looking for it, the chances of selling the home quicker increases. Sure. So we don't look at AI as something scary. We look at it as a great tool to shorten our time, to be able to reach more people.
And be more concise.
Yeah, refine our services. Exactly.
That's terrific. So why did you choose Caddo to make your kind of home base or part of your business?
So we live 10 minutes down the street. So terrific. Location.
Yep.
And we love the idea of being in a building with other small business owners. So we can utilize their services and they can utilize us. We really believe in that new way of we loved being in a building with a bunch of real estate agents. The energy was great. We learned a lot. But now we have someone like you that is in the media industry, or there's a doctor in here, or there's someone that does finances in here. Those are all services that our homeowners are looking for. And we can meet you guys, and we mastermind a month. I think every month we have a little potluck get together. We can meet people and just be able to help each other's businesses grow.
Yeah.
So that's the biggest reason, is that sort of community feel of being around like-minded individuals that are business owners that want to help the community, and then location, because we live 10 minutes down the road.
Yeah, that is a convenience.
Yeah.
It's a nice place. So speaking of nice places, you represent a lot of homes. And so for people who are looking, but they're not sure, what would you say to them to come talk to you?
So I would say, let's sit down and over a cup of coffee or a meal and talk about, what are your goals? Where do you want to be? When do you want to be there? And what do we need to do to get in place the steps to get you to where you want to be? Not everybody is created to be a homeowner, but I want to talk to the ones that are thinking about it. I want to talk to the ones that are dreaming about not having to wait on the landlord to fix the plumbing, or if the landlord's going to sell, will I have a place to live? So those are the people that I want to talk to and just dream with and see what we can do. I have great lenders that I partner with that will look at the loan like they would their own and say, hey, that might make you a little house poor. Let's maybe look at some different options, or maybe save another year worth of money. It just kind of depends on what the market's doing and affordability. But myself, my husband, and then our partner lenders, or I also have lenders with accountants, financial advisors. Let's work together to get a plan going so that you make a good decision.
Yeah. That's excellent. How would you like to be contacted? What's the best way for them to reach you?
My cell phone.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
So just in case that changes, everyone scroll down because we'll put that in the show notes.
Okay.
So just in case you change the number at some point, we can still update that.
Okay.
So excellent. So I'd encourage you all to reach out to Kim. Just like you said, sit down and have a cup of coffee and talk about your goals.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you coming on the show and sharing your
Thank
knowledge
you.
and your passion for what you do.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me.
Thank you for joining us today on the Caddo Convos podcast. A huge shout out to our incredible network of members for making our community vibrant and supportive. If you're looking to boost your productivity and reduce the isolation of working from home, consider joining us at Caddo Office Reimagined. Our spaces are designed to meet your evolving needs, support remote work, and foster a sense of community that's hard to find at home. Whether you're a startup aiming for growth, a freelancer seeking a professional setting, or a company looking to optimize resources, Caddo offers a perfect blend of flexibility and innovation. By joining us, you'll be a part of a dynamic business ecosystem that helps you thrive. For more information, visit caddooffices.com. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time on Caddo Convos.